Hello second grade. Today we are going to be working on another worksheet for our extended read of famous inventors. This reading can be found on pages 14 to 21. In this reading we learned about different inventors like Thomas Alva Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, and George Washington Carver. We know that inventors create something new and often solve problems. For this worksheet, we're going to be looking at different photos in our reading and analyzing them. So looking at them and seeing how the image helps us understand what we read. Starting off, we're going to look at page 16. On page 16, you will see this photo. This is the photo that we're going to be talking about for our first question. On page 16. So this says, what I notice in this photo. Looking at the photo, I notice that it's dark and that there is a group of men who seem to be testing and experimenting with a light bulb. So I'm going to write that it is dark and they are testing a light bulb. So they're testing a light bulb to see if it works. So our sentence should read, it is dark and they are testing a light bulb. Next, looking to the right, it says how this photo supports what I read. So we have to think about how the photo relates to our reading and supports what we read about as far as inventors go. So after reading, we should have learned that Thomas Alva Edison invented the light bulb. So the photo of them testing out the light bulb supports what we read, that Edison invented the first electric light bulb. So we're going to write Edison, because don't forget, when we talk about well-known scientists, we can often use their last name. So our sentence should read, Edison invented the first electric light bulb. Next, looking below, this one says on your own, but I'm going to help you out with it because our page numbers are a little bit off. So for this one, we're going to look at page 21. So turn to page 21. And you should see this chart. Although it's pictures, it is a chart. So up top we have our labels, which will help us read the chart. So up here it says inventors. So we know that these three people are all inventors. We have Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, and George Washington Carver. Below we have another label that says inventions. Then we can see that Thomas Edison invented the phonograph and the light bulb. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. And lastly, George Washington Carver invented ink, soap from peanuts and sweet potatoes. So that is the chart we are looking at on page 21 to answer these questions. So we already talked a little bit about what we noticed in the chart. So I am going to write down the three famous inventors and their inventions. So using those labels, we read the chart and we noticed that it had 3 famous inventors and their inventions. Next, it says how this chart supports what I read. So just like last time, we're thinking about how the chart and the pictures in the chart supported what we read in our story. So I'm going to write that the chart showed us pictures of the inventors we read about and their inventions. Once again, Miss R writes a little sideways, but I will show you after. If you ever need to pause throughout the video, take a pause, stop to write the sentence, that's a good idea. So our sentence reads, shows us pictures of the inventors we read about and their inventions. Shows us pictures of the inventors we read about and their inventions. For our last question, you guys are going to do this one on your own. So looking at the chart that we used for this question, so the chart that showed us the 3 famous inventors and their inventions, you're going to see how the chart supports the reading. So it says, how does the chart, not on page 16, but on page 21, support the passage? So how does it support what we read about? A, it shows why Thomas Edison was important. B, it shows the inventors and their best inventions. Or C, it shows what an inventor looks like. Whatever you think is the best answer for how the chart supports our reading, circle that answer. And when you are all done, make sure your name is on top and submit your work. Good job, second graders.